1,029 pounds.
You get to see us. Take those guys out.
Alex Shelley.
Finally, Alex Shelley. Jimmy Rave. And that's it.
about Vendettas. The Embassy and Generation Next collide yet again. 8-man tag team action. AJ Styles filling in for Roderick Strong, who was given the title shot here tonight after the events of last week in Connecticut. Joining forces with Generation Next, flanked by the lovely Daisy Hayes and Jade Chung, who, as I hear, is Roderick's newest interest. They were all over each other last night in Detroit. taking on the Embassy. And once again, the Monster Abyss, part of the Embassy's squad here tonight. And we're going to see Prince Nana mix it up as a wrestler as well.
This matchup, not just about vendettas, not just about feuds between two factions that cannot absolutely stand one another. This match, a little more significance in that Steel Cage Warfare is coming up December 3rd in New York City as the fans throwing toilet paper at Jimmy Rave on the outside. Significant for this match, the fact that the advantage in Steel Cage Warfare is going to go to the winner of this matchup here tonight. We don't flip coins here in Ring of Honor. We wrestle to see who gets the advantage.
Steel Cage Warfare, very similar in format to a War Game style matchup coming up between these two to finally settle the score between these two factions that have been at war for months now.
Jimmy Rave going to start it off against the former world champ Austin Aries. Jimmy Rave, the recipient of said toilet paper from the fine folks here in Chicago Ridge, says he's going to unveil his new finisher here tonight. I wonder if he's got the Master Rock ready to go.
I don't know about that. I've seen him apply the full Nelson in the past, and I don't think that is the new finisher. He's
The Rave Lock. The Rave Lock. I know.
The Rave Lock. Yeah, he's waiting for the precise moment, the right time to let the fans and the rest of the roster know exactly what he has in mind. This new move that he has perfected and is going to unleash terror on ROH.
Finally, Rave makes his way back to the ring. It looks like we're going to get things started off here.
With Austin Aries,
maybe not so fast.
Hesitant Jimmy Rave doesn't want to get things started too quickly. But Austin Aries will wait for the precise moment to unleash that drop kick to the side of the head. And he's in the wrong part of town right now as all of Generation Next and AJ Styles are just pounding away.
And AJ's going to get himself in there.
No love lost between these two whatsoever.
History between these two. Hard forearm shot by AJ, and he's going to tag in Matt Sydal, the newest member of Generation Next.
Matt Sydal and AJ Styles forming quite the duo in tag team action last night in Detroit. We'll see some more of that tonight. And a high flyer Jack Evans now forearming away at Jimmy Rave.
Another chop to the chest. Rave trying to make his way out of the corner and get the tag. Evans cuts him off though. He drags him right back to the corner. And one more time he's going to tag in Austin Aries.
Frequent tags on the side of Generation Next. Kicking away at the chest of Jimmy Rave.
Hard left hand to the top of the head as well. Again, Rave trying to make the tag. Aries, though, putting on the brakes, driving him right back to his part of town, and another left hand right to the top of the head, rocks Jimmy Rave in the corner.
You'll notice the vast majority of those in this matchup relatively small in stature, with the exception of the very, very large Abyss. Undoubtedly the most intimidating force in this match.
AJ stomping away at the back of the head. Yeah, Abyss is absolutely enormous on the outside, and it would bode well for Generation Next if they can keep Jimmy Rave in their half of the ring and keep that monster out of this matchup.
Right into the buckle goes Jimmy Rave. Solid punch from AJ Styles. Of course, AJ reclaiming the Styles clash. The move that Jimmy Rave stole from him, blatantly ripped off from him, and started calling the Rave clash.
Tag into Matt Sydal. AJ picks Rave back up, fires a chop into the corner. Running knee strike. Stepped up on the thigh of Jimmy Rave and connect right with the side of the head. Rave again trying to crawl his way across the ring to make the tag, and Sydal drags him back to the corner and again tags in Austin Aries. Elbow to the back of the head. This has to be about the 5th tag so far for Generation Next, and Jimmy Rave has been in their half of the ring since the get-go.
Doing a good job of cutting Jimmy Rave off from his corner. And Austin Aries gets a few shots in on the members of the Embassy.
Oh, you don't want to, you're just going to make Abyss mad doing something like that.
Except Prince Nana, I don't think he necessarily wants to make the tag.
No, he's got a case of the Jimmy legs on the outside.
Pulling Jimmy Rave back toward their corner. Aries again putting the boots to Jimmy Rave.
Look, call me kooky, but I don't think Nana wanted the tag there.
No, you think? Jimmy Rave, I don't want to tag.
The crown jewel.
In comes Matt Sydal. Connects with a beautiful drop kick.
Nowhere to go for Rave. Boot to the chest. It is all Generation Next here. Going to work on Jimmy Rave. Forearm shot and a tag to AJ Styles.
They've done a very good job of exacting their revenge on Jimmy Rave, and Jimmy Rave only thus far. Out to the floor he goes. AJ went for the dive, Jimmy moved, but AJ caught himself on the floor. And AJ goes soaring. Aries off the apron.
Jimmy Rave in a heat near the guardrail, courtesy of Austin Aries, as Daisy Hayes on the outside looks on.
And Sydal going to work inside the ring on Alex Shelley. But Shelley connects with the kick, sends Sydal down to the canvas.
Jay Chung on the outside, pounding on the apron, encouraging Sydal, who reverses the Irish whip. Shelley able to get out of the way.
And pulled off of the apron. Keep your eye on that Sydal. Beautiful dive, takes Shelley down to the floor. Abyss mixing it up with AJ Styles.
Jack Evans goes soaring to the floor, and now everyone except Prince Nana going at it on the outside.
Why he called Flippy McGillicuddy. Oh, he hits the
That might be why.
And once again, Nana wants none of the action here tonight. He's, well, at least he's been able to avoid any punishment inflicted on himself as of yet.
Slingshot sent on by Aries right off the ropes. Drives the elbow to the chest to Shelley. 2 count, Shelley goes to the floor, and Aries now looking for Prince Nana one more time.
Trying to get his hands on him. Yeah, bring him in the ring.
Oh, watch out for Abyss on the apron, though. Abyss clubs Austin Aries right in the back of the head. AJ, though, right behind Abyss, firing away.
It takes so much momentum to even attempt to take a guy the size of Abyss down. AJ with the leapfrog on Abyss. Drop kick and down he goes.
Unbelievable athleticism from AJ Styles, but he's caught by Jimmy Rave. AJ puts on the brakes. Backbreaker on Rave.
Down to the canvas he goes.
Abyss makes his way to the floor.
Delayed vertical suplex from the Phenomenal One. And then down the mat. That's the tag. In comes Jack Evans once again.
Stomping away at the midsection. Rave in the middle of the ring on his knees, begging for mercy here. Evans maybe making a mistake here, ducks the right hand and connects with a left to the face.
Well, he's successfully avoiding Jimmy Rave's attempts. Connects with a kick to the side of the head.
Utilizing his quickness, elevated, lands on the apron, blocks and fires a forearm shot. Springboard, flippity kick.
That's what it's called. That's the technical term. Cover! Only 2.
Crowd getting behind Generation Next.
Grabbed hold of the shorts, but Evans able to save himself. Down goes Jimmy Rave.
Tried to tully him to the floor, but he landed on the apron.
Springboard, but this time Prince Nana interjecting himself, taking the balance away from Jack Evans and sending him to the floor. And he didn't even see Abyss coming.
One shot from Abyss to the back sends Evans flying halfway across the floor.
Delta roll backbreaker from Alex Shelley. Just standing on him. Not going to pin the man that way.
They're trying to punish Jack Evans now. One facelock, Evans trying to make his way to the corner. Shelley cutting him off and dragging him back to the corner.
And the monster Abyss tagged in. And in there with the smallest competitor on the Generation Next team in
right hand to the ribs. Fires him head first in the top turnbuckle.
A true David versus Goliath matchup right here between these two.
Abyss with at least a 200-pound weight advantage on Jack Evans.
Watch your face.
Abyss.
And
Over to the other side of the ring. House charging. Oh.
Nowhere for Evans to go as he just gets squashed in the corner.
In comes Alex Shelley. For the cover. Too close to the ropes.
How you like it?
Evans is just limp.
How you like it, sweetheart?
Pulling him back up. Shelley now doing the same thing to Jack Evans that Generation Next was able to do in the early part of the match to Jimmy Rave. Cut the ring in half and prevent him from tagging in any of his partners. Cover. AJ Styles gets the save.
Nice double team maneuver from Rave and Shelley there. Fortunately for Evans, Styles able to break it up. Rave in control, drives him to the corner.
Shut up.
Working the forearm across the face of Jack Evans. Daisy Hayes and Jay Chung getting these fans here in Chicago behind Jack Evans to fight his way back to make a tag here. Stopping away on the chest. In comes Shelley once again. Double team strategy from the Embassy. And they take him down with tremendous force.
Covered by Shelley.
Sydal breaks it up. Taking away at Shelley. Tempers really flaring here between these two factions.
These are 8 guys who do not like each other one bit. And 2 girls. Him up in the gory special.
Folding him in half like we've seen on many occasions. Alex Shelley likes to torture Jack Evans, and he's doing it right now.
People are not supposed to bend that way.
Back over there.
Keeps hold of the legs.
Hey, look at
If he makes his feet touch his head again.
He just did.
Oh my God!
Aries makes the save. Back chop on Alex Shelley. Shelley, the former stablemate of Generation Next, now at war with his former partner. I was trying to fire back, but not enough. And are they going to tag in Prince Nana?
Now he's ready for the tag.
Yeah, after you have all the other members of the team soften up the smallest man on the opposing team and reverse direction knee drop from Nana.
Driving the knee right into the side of the face of Jack Evans. Picks him right up and pushes him into the corner. Hard chop to the chest from Nana.
He's just for battle. Too bad he's not the one doing much of the battling in this match.
Tagging to Jimmy Rave, firing away the midsection.
Nana is very happy with the way the match is going for his team at the moment.
Doing the Ghana victory dance.
Is that what that was?
I believe it was. Tagging to the monster Abyss.
Abyss. Modified camel clutch from Jimmy Rave. Abyss just kicks away.
Plants that giant boot right into the chest of poor Jack Evans as Alex Shelley putting the bad mouth on him. And biting him. Well, he did give him the finger.
Get in there, ref.
Click me off, bitch. You like it when you're not to. Jeez Louise.
Abyss in the corner with Evans, right hand to the top of the head.
He's firing back. He's trying to work his way out of the corner. He needs to make a tag. He's got to get another member of his team in the ring.
Up and over. Can he make the tag? Nana clubs him to the back.
Oh, and quickly pulling him away from his corner before any members of Generation X could tag Jack Evans legally.
Got to give Nana a little bit of credit there. Presence of mind to quickly drag Evans out of the corner before he could make the tag. Now Alex Shelley getting ready to go to work on Evans. Now just taunting the rest of Generation Next.
Daisy Hayes encouraging him to hang in there. Slowly pulling Jack Evans back up off the canvas. Belly to back suplex. Down to the canvas he goes.
Driving him right in the center of the ring. Submission move here right in the middle of the ring. Pulling back on the arms and bending him in half again. Jesus! How does this kid survive?
He's got to submit at some point here.
Shelley had his own shoulders to the mat there. 2 count by Sinclair.
And again, just taunting the partners of Jack Evans. In comes Nana again.
I think I once described the back of Jack Evans as being made of silly putty. I now think it might be Jello.
Legs tag, yes! Makes the tag, and Nana gets out of the ring as soon as possible.
Sydal and Aries going to work.
Sinclair's lost control of this thing. It's Generation Next going to town on the embassy.
Drop kick from AJ
And
Styles.
he's got Prince Nana. Keep your eye on this. They sidestep as he advances, and he jumps back down Nana. Combination from Generation Next. AJ Styles with the springboard forearm sends the big man down and out of the ring. But Jimmy Rave from behind.
Alex Shelley sends Aries out to the fourth side L as well. AJ with the kick. Forearm shots to Rave. Super kick. And a spear by Jimmy Rave.
Turns him inside out. Takes all the momentum away from AJ Styles.
Aries trying to make his way back into the ring. Instead, he drags Jimmy Rave out to the floor. Evans and Styles in a heap in the corner, and Abyss is moving some furniture.
He's bringing a table inside the ring, looking to do some damage as we head toward steel cage warfare on the center third.
Again, not just Vendetta's on the line here, but the winner of this matchup is going to get the advantage at steel cage warfare under those War Games type rules. And Abyss has that table set in the corner and his eyes set on Jack Evans in the corner on the other side.
If he puts Evans through that table, he's going to break this kid. Referee letting it go. We need to have a winner here. Good call by the official. Going for the handspring elbow. Blocked by Abyss. Face first into the canvas.
A reverse choke slam there as he just drove him chest first into the canvas. Left hand by Aries to the top of the head of Rave. Off the ropes. Black hole slam from Abyss. But he can't follow up. Sydal and Aries going to work.
Trying to double team the big man. It's worked in the past. Can it work again? But no, he knocks both of them down as they came charging. Double choke slam coming up from Abyss. No, they step on his foot. Off the ropes. Clothesline on Aries. Sydal set into the lights and comes crashing down on his own partner.
Abyss standing tall in the center, waiting for someone from Generation Next to get up. And unfortunately for Austin Aries, it's him first.
Sydal trying to work his way back up himself. Can we see that double choke slam now?
He's got them both by the throat.
He's to the midsection of Abyss. Or a little bit below the midsection.
AJ! German suplex through the table!
Shelley into the ring. STO. Power drive elbow. Standing moonsault. Sydal drives him down, leg across the chest. Now looking to double team the man.
Aries with a modified German into the turnbuckles. The back of Jimmy Rave's head bouncing off the center turnbuckle.
It's time for some payback.
He's got Daisy Hayes by the hair!
No. Nana's got Daisy Hayes.
Just like Nana hiding behind a woman.
Making the save on Daisy Hayes. Yeah, hit Nana.
Pulling Daisy to safety. Wait a second!
What the hell?
They just saved her. Jay Tug's in there now.
Chung and Daisy Hayes? What just happened?
Nana's got Jay Chung by a hair. Daisy Hayes
First into the canvas for Jay Chung. What's Daisy Hayes doing?
Nana.
Oh no. What a face full of ass. And again, Prince Nana just rubbing it in the faces of Generation Next here.
Actually, it was Aries and Sydal with the face full ass. Oh, is this going to be the new finisher?
Air raid crash from LA Shelley and
He stole another one!
oh, and they stole a victory in this match. It's going to be the Embassy with the advantage in Steel Cage Warfare on December 3rd. Jimmy Rave just ripped off another finisher.
And Daisy Hayes, what the hell is she thinking?
I can't believe Daisy Hayes would do that, especially after how we saw the Embassy and how they would treat Jake Chung for months on end. Why? Why? Things are going to be red hot between these two factions as we head to Steel Cage Warfare December 3rd. For Lenny Leonard, I'm Dave Prazak. Thank you for joining us for Vendetta here in Chicago.